Want to see it not be a church. It's something that we may revisit. The sergeant major asked me about it again. I talked to Mr. Verhulst and he said, well, what about ABMC? I said, do you want ABMC to take it over? I said, we tried this once, and I'm going to tell you that, you won't burn us again. If we try this again, then we are going to get in writing that you're committed to that. But I said, the ABMC has told me that it won't be a church. It'll be a visitor center. And the way that it would, it's a beautiful church, but inside it's pretty small. So being able to treat it as a visitor center, there isn't really enough room to also use it as a church, which they use it as a church probably 4 or 5 times a year. But there's an emotional attachment to it. So, so far that's not the solution. Also, Heather Warfield, neither Mr. Verhulst or the mayor were aware of the document that transferred that from the association, not this one, but the association that was created to build the church. When they transferred it to the town, it states that it must always be used as a church and a memorial. So the memorial piece is easy. It could still be a visitor center, but if it's no longer a church, there are some legal issues. So, not a lawyer. That association no longer exists. I'm sure there is some mechanism, when an association no longer exists to the court appoint somebody to represent the interests. So, I'm not saying it couldn't be done, but it would be a bit complicated. So that's the sign. It'll, like I said, we're planning an event in July, so it'll be unveiled at that event. We're hoping for, a large participation, U.S. Army Europe, I believe that at least the Mass Guard, I think General Keefe is committed to, some type of participation. I would really love to see a YD color guard for the event. So we'll see as that develops, but July will be here before we know it. What else have we got? Talked about that, talked about the foundation, talked about the assessment, talked about the sign, talked about strategic planning. Oh, caves. So some of you, I think, are aware that there are a number of closed quarries, limestone quarries, mostly along the Shamanda Dam, which is a ridge, the Road of the Ladies, and I guess that was a road that the royal family would use to travel to different parts of the country. And there are a number of caves there, quarries, and one of them is the Cabin de Dragon, which is a public run, call it other than a tourist site. So you can go there, and it has a lot of interpretive stuff, and then you can do the tour, throughout the cave. So it's very commercialized, excellent job, and it's a great way to see how the life was for these soldiers. There's also a cave at Freudmont, which Len and Jonathan Bratton, and there was a documentary created by the Smithsonian or National Geographic.
National Geographic.
So there's a video out there. So that talked about this cave, which our friend Mr. Gilles Chauvin is the caretaker. It's been secure. There's a gate, and so another individual who is very interested in the YD is Lieutenant Colonel. I can't even think his last name. Benoit Yves. And he's the one that took me around me and my nephew around to these caves to do these assessments. The farmers who own the property where all these caves are interested in having them secured because they have, kids partying, kids graffiti, people go in there with hammers and chisels and take the etchings that the soldiers did during the war. In fact, one of them somehow ended up in a very high-level government official's office. And once the gentleman that has that cave, that takes care of the cave, found out, it's coming back. So, so they asked me to see what we thought we could do to secure these caves from trespassers. And so the Freudmont cave is secure. There are 5 other caves. One of them, the farmer that owns the property, his father, buried it, sealed it. There's no access to it, but we think that we could create access to it. Anything we do there is going to have, obviously, it's private property and have to have control by the owner. So 3 of these caves are very simple. They just require, frankly, a gate. It's something that we could do with some carpenter masons and welders. So what I've offered to try to do is to put together a team to go over and do the work. They will be responsible for the equipment and any cost of materials. And we would go over there and secure these locations so that, they don't disappear. And in return, we would ask the farmers to allow us to access that, under, certain controls to take people through these caves. And then one cave is huge, has a lot of interesting stuff in it, but it has about 5 different access points and 3 of them are through the roof. So that one is probably as much work as all the other ones combined. But, we'll try to do what we can. He's very interested in having this done, has given us access to it a number of times, so we'll see. I mean, this is going to take some time. And because French and German soldiers occupied these caves as well, this is potentially an opportunity to get assistance from the French government and the German government to preserve these sites, as opposed to the church, which is really ours. So that's the caves, and then, let's see. Yeah, I think I've talked about everything there. And if anybody, if you'd like me to email you a copy of these, you can just give me an email, a card or something, and be happy to send them to you. Everything I get I've got digitally. And then including the article on the church that Heather wrote, which is, I think it's